Before we begin this video, this is your reminder that, as of the recording of this piece, the SAG-AFTRA strikes are still ongoing. While we have reviewed the SAG-AFTRA guidelines and we do not believe this video is in violation of those guidelines, we nevertheless encourage you to support SAG-AFTRA as well as all workers who are fighting for a fair wage. Thanks so much and enjoy the show. Hello! And welcome to Knights of the Nerds Table. My name is Dieter, and folks, I don't know if you missed me or if you even knew I was gone.
I heard you was looking for me.
But I am back, and just in time to talk about the newest cinematic masterpiece from Marvel Studios. So get ready to go higher, further, and faster, baby, because it's time to talk about The Marvels. Before we get started, one last disclaimer. If you are extremely online, you will know that right now there is a lot of discussion about Marvel Studios' financial and story-related future, and how well the Marvels will do at the box office. And I'm just gonna say right now, we're not really gonna talk about any of that. I'm far more interested in getting us caught up on where the characters have been and where they're going. So if you're here for industry assessments or what this means for the financial future of Marvel Studios or superheroes as a genre, you may want to find a different video.
That's harsh.
With that out of the way, let's talk about The Marvels. The Marvels, set to release in the United States on November 10th, 2023, is a sequel, not just to 2019's Captain Marvel, but also to 2022's Miss Marvel, and continues plot elements from 2021's WandaVision. The film is something of a first for the Marvel franchise, as it will be the first non-Avengers movie to feature three protagonists. Tritagonists? Anyway, let's start by meeting those three and see where they've been. First, we have Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, played by Brie Larson. Originally an Air Force pilot before exposure to the Space Stone, or Tesseract, imbued her with light-based powers. Since the 1990s, Captain Marvel has been in outer space, searching for a new homeworld for the remnants of the Skrull race, and only returning to Earth in the 2020s to aid the Avengers against Thanos in the wake of the blip. Since Endgame, we've seen Carol working with Bruce Banner to recruit heroes like Shang-Chi, but she's been largely off-camera and presumably off-planet since Endgame. Then we have Monica Rambeau. No codename so far in the films, although in the comics she currently uses the name Photon, played by Teyonah Parris. Monica is the daughter of Carol's best friend Maria, who passed away during the blip. Monica since joined SWORD and worked with Jimmy Woo and Darcy Lewis to investigate Wanda Maximoff's takeover of Westview, New Jersey. During that incident, and as chronicled in WandaVision, exposure to Wanda's magic activated Monica's ability to manipulate the electromagnetic spectrum and put her on a collision course to begin working with Nick Fury. Finally, we have Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel.
Hi.
Played by Iman Vellani. Kamala is a teenager and superhero fangirl from Jersey City, whose exposure to a bangle belonging to her grandmother activates an ability to create hard light constructs. Currently, Kamala acts as the protector of and beloved member of the community of Jersey City. Then, rounding out the cast, we have Samuel L. Jackson reprising his role as Nick Fury, and newcomers Zawe Ashton as Dar-Ben and Park Seo-joon as Prince Yan. In terms of what to expect from the story, we honestly don't know much. We know that Monica, Carol, and Kamala are switching places across the galaxy when they use their powers, and that's about it. Honestly, the Marvel marketing machine seems to be selling this film largely on the buddy cop vibes that come from the three leads being forced to work together, and I can't necessarily blame them, but it doesn't seem that we have a big world-ending catastrophe or villain that they're trying to sell us on. That said, when it comes to the vibes, to borrow a phrase, the vibes are immaculate. Iman Vellani is an effortlessly lovable performer, and you can tell just from the trailers that she's going to bring out some found family dynamics with the other two, and boy oh boy am I a sucker for found family. So from my perspective, there's already a lot the movie has going for it, but that doesn't mean we can't do a little bit of sleuthing and speculating about what might come in the film. Now, if you watch our videos regularly, you know that this is the part of the video where I do a deep dive into some of the comic book history that relates to the film. The problem is that well has annoyingly run a little bit dry. Take the characters of Dar-Ben and Prince Yan, for example. Both characters are advertised as principal players in the film, but in the comics, they have basically no footprint. In the comics, Dar-Ben is a Kree warrior who fought Silver Surfer and died in a war between the Kree and Shi'ar empires called Operation Galactic Storm. Yes, they really called an event that in the comics. It was the 90s, it was a weird time, we don't talk about it.
We don't talk about Bruno, no, no.
Anyway, he's in exactly 3 comics, and as far as I can tell, he has never met any of the Captain Marvel characters. Prince Yan, meanwhile, at least knows Carol in the comics. He's in 2 issues of Kelly Sue DeConnick's Captain Marvel run, where he convinces Carol to help him break up an arranged wedding between him and intergalactic rock star Lila Cheney. So insignificant are these characters that I pretty much had to rely exclusively on the Marvel Wiki just to even remember who they are, and I'm pretty sure I've never even read a comic that Dar-Ben appears in. Now, I want to be clear that the Marvel Cinematic Universe using obscure characters for new stories is not a bad thing. If we didn't look to Z-list Marvel characters, we would never have gotten Guardians of the Galaxy, which I think most people would agree is one of the best Marvel trilogies ever created. But it does leave me at somewhat of a loss when I'm trying to predict or anticipate what to expect from a Marvel film. It's not a problem, it is just slightly frustrating when you're a pedantic nerd like me. So as for how these characters might play into the movies, well, we do know that Yan has a relationship with Carol from her journeys across the cosmos. The press information has confirmed that. So he probably calls on her to assist in some crisis. I highly doubt Lila Cheney will be involved, but let me tell you, as a Lila Cheney mark, I am ready and willing to be proven wrong. Meanwhile, set photos do indicate that Dar-Ben is wearing an identical bangle to Kamala's, and based on the end credits scene of Ms. Marvel, I think it's likely that Dar-Ben is in some way behind the issues that the Marvels are having with their powers being entangled. Outside of that, I just don't have many guesses about what we're going to see in this movie. We do know that there's going to be some Skrull representation, as Gary Lewis has been cast as the Skrull Emperor, but whether that's going to tie into the much maligned Secret Invasion is beyond me. I do also hope that we'll see some work done on exploring how Monica feels about Carol seemingly abandoning both Earth and her mother for the better part of 3 decades, and how they're going to overcome that in their relationship. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention the elephant in the room, which is the reveal in Ms. Marvel that Kamala is a mutant. I don't think we're going to see that play in a major way, but I do suspect we'll probably get some kind of tease for it in a post-credit scene. Finally, I do think that this movie is going to have some really fun fight scenes. Body switching and teleportation mechanics can be a lot of fun if they're choreographed well, and they can lead to great comedic bits or devastating teamwork that I hope would be extremely memorable. Don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting this movie to be the next John Wick, but I can't help but remember that a lot of the original Captain Marvel's fight scenes were a little bit shaky and could have done with a bit more creativity in their use of Captain Marvel's powers. The way I see it, with this body switching mechanic, the writers have basically set themselves up for success, and at this point, it's their game to lose. Now, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of chatter on the internet about whether or not this movie is gonna save the MCU or flop and then superhero movies will all die or whatever. And to be honest, I kinda don't care. I just want a fun, interstellar buddy cop superhero movie. And I'm thinking and hoping that that's exactly what we're gonna get. So I'm gonna check out the first screening I can get to. With that said, thank you all for watching, and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you're expecting from the newest Marvel feature, and we'll see you next time for more conversations around the Nerds Table.